Ouch. It's true. Is it below the belt?
I think without a shadow of a doubt, it's below the belt. What you want from big managers is respect shown to each other. It's a tough job, high-pressure job, but it's getting very childish. I'm sure the League Management Association will not be happy with the behaviour.
Do you not think it's a bit more than childish?
Yep.
It's actually, you know, I would say it's passive-aggressive. It's not even passive-aggressive. It's aggressive, verbally aggressive. I mean, just to put the record straight, yes, he was suspended, Antonio Conte, not for match-fixing, but the allegation was that he knew match-fixing was going on and ignored it, or turned a blind eye to it. That was the accusation.
For me, it's getting very personal, isn't it, now? And that's what we don't want to see. I remember Mourinho and Wenger. They would always be having a go. Wenger isn't so good at kind of replying. Conte, he doesn't mess about. He's a fighter. The way that he played, he'll defend his club to the hilt. So when he heard that, of course, he come out with his barb. But then the reply, yeah, it's not something that we want to see whatsoever. So what's going to be the next reply from Antonio Conte?
Well, that's the thing. It goes to Antonio Conte today because he's playing today, so it's almost like, right, it's your turn to respond. How will he respond?
Well, it'll be very interesting whether he comes back fighting again, angry, or whereas the powers above Antonio Conte has told him, look, stay calm, don't respond at all to it. It's going to be a difficult one for him to respond to today. It's probably an episode in his career that he's wanted to completely forget about, and probably embarrassed about it as well. And here we are, a fellow manager, bringing it up into the open, and we're all going to be talking about it.
Look, you played in Italy. Put into perspective what was going on in Syria. This was when you know, Conte was there at Siena. Yeah. That's where. But you know, you played at Torino.
You're right, but also Mourinho understands. He's been there. He's been manager of Inter, so he understands the history. And when I was there in 97, 98, I played for Torino, and there was a game that we'd already organised the score. I was shocked.
But between...
Completely.
And who had arranged that?
Torino, the owners of the club.
The owners of the respective clubs?
The respective clubs. Now, my reaction to that was one of complete shock, and I said, no, forget it, I don't want any part. They laughed at me. Now, what I took from that is, that's what happens. That's what happened towards the end of the season. Things were done. So to pick one person out, you know how many people got in trouble, they got relegated and this, that and the other, but it was more of a, that's the way the Italian league did things, and Mourinho should know that, because you know, a lot of people that happened to or were involved in it in some way, shape or form. So it was at Siena. He wasn't directly, but clearly the players and the owners got together and they arranged a result, which is shocking, absolutely shocking. That's a long time ago, and everyone's hopefully kind of moved on from that. But for Mourinho to bring it up, he understands what it was like.
Well, that's your ultimate trump card, isn't it? It's almost like, right, it's not stabbing you in the back, that's right in the front.
It's very nasty. I think that's the word, it's nasty thing to come out with. And I think Mr. Conte has just got to say, we'll see when we're face to face the next time we play each other, and I'll let our teams and our coaching do the talking, rather than this verbal fighting. I think it's not good for the game. It's very bad for the game. What I will say, Jose always starts these games. He's always the one that throws little grenades in at press conferences about other managers, about other clubs, about referees. He's a distractor.
Is this just part of, you know, there are all sorts of rumours that he's not happy at United at the moment, that United are not happy with him, or he's just negotiating for a new contract. You know, any of these.
But if you look back at the clubs that he's been at, and when things go wrong, it goes toxic. Not just bad, there's something wrong there. So at Chelsea, the second time round, look what happened. The players just give up. Real Madrid, he starts poking people in the eye, and they wanted him out. That's how he goes. There is no middle ground to Jose Mourinho. He produces some great teams, incredible things that he's won, but when it goes wrong, and maybe we're seeing the start of that.
And this is the question, is he a good fit for Manchester United? Manchester United had probably the greatest manager ever in Alex Ferguson, and he was a winner and a fighter, but his teams did the talking for him, and very rarely you've seen Alex Ferguson distracting too much. He would take the responsibility, and his teams played attacking entertaining football all the time. First game of the season to the last game of the season. Anfield, Highbury, no matter where they went, Ferguson's teams played entertaining, attacking football. Josie's teams win, gets trophies, but they don't entertain.
Another thing, of course, he's used to winning all the time. He's not even the best team in his city, let alone anything else. And there could be another problem.
Well, also for the branding of the club. You know, how do you think the club, how do you think Manchester United are feeling about this spat between these two?
I think the PR department and the directors...
But think of the directors, as the brand, the owners, what they have with a manager throwing in bombs like this.
I think they'll be very disappointed, and it's not the behaviour you expect from the manager of such a massive institution as Manchester United. There's no doubt nobody behind the scenes will be happy with him. But you knew what they were getting when they signed Jose Mourinho. This, as you've just said, Tony's just said, wherever he goes, it appears. The good stuff, winning trophies, but it always ends in a real toxic, it's a good word, manner. But I'm sure somebody's had a word with him behind the scenes, but looking by that last interview and the end of it, he's not listening to anybody.
That is ultimately the nuclear button he's just hit, isn't it? Isn't it, towards Conte? There's nowhere to go. You've used your trump card very early.
I can't wait for the response later. Let's see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if he just laughs it off. Remember, Conte was under pressure before and he just makes a joke of things. Let's hope that's where it stops, and then we can get on with talking about football. But yeah, pressure of top-class managers, and you've just seen it all there.
I mean, he's in a difficult position, obviously, because he's got to hold his hands up and say, yeah, that was the case. You know, it's not as if he's clever enough, Jose Mourinho, not to say something that is untrue that would get him in trouble that way, because he understands that. Yep. So that's what...
I wouldn't surprise if Mr. Conte brings up the poke in the eye.
Is that the next one?
I think that could be...
At least I would never poke anyone in the eye.
Tito Villanova, that was, when they were at Real Madrid.